Obviously, the issues in financial technology is still controversial. There are many issues from cryptocurrency to Bitcoin to payment gateways to how to make your solutions safe yet smart through technology and through fintech. But this will be issues that not only will be discussed in the future, but is being debated today, even by the regulatory bodies in Indonesia, such as the central bank. So, as the future looks prosperous, especially in the era of the digital transformation and fintech, but is this future real? That is the question to be. And so we have very competent gentlemen in this stage today. The Director of Digital Strategic Portfolio of Bank BRI, and everybody knows Bank BRI, Indonesia's largest bank, and embedded into society up to the villages of Indonesia. So I guess the most embedded bank in Indonesia. He will be sharing with you about his thoughts. And we have also Mr. Jasin Halim, the CEO of Kioson, the first technology or commercial e-commerce company that has been IPO'd or listed in the stock market as of October. And so it's an honor to have him here. And then we have from Singapore, Mr. Leong Hian, the chairman of the Singapore Professional Center, who will probably share with us how this type of disruption affects the professional workspace in Indonesia. So without further ado, I will allow Mr. Indra Utoyo to go first as a banker, and he can share, is this fintech a friend or is it a foe?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you. I think the industry never has been as interesting as today. Yeah? It's disruption, but we should see it as a lot of opportunities coming. Okay, so change is part of our life. Change is getting more, coming faster and getting exponentials. And we see industry is kind of upside down or porak-poranda. Yeah? In Indonesia, it's right being chaos. But that's happened because of the disruption coming in the industry, in a lot of industry, not only financial. Okay, and we can see which industry will be impacted by disruption. There is a study from Deloitte saying this industry which is short fuse and a big bang will happen in some of the industries. You can see here, financial sector is one of the industries that will be impacted. But if you are in mining, oil, gas, maybe you are a bit safe currently. But what drives the digital transformation? If we talk about financial industry, I think in our current daily life, so the consumerization is happening. So if you like to do something, you just one click. You would like to order food, you just click to go food, or you just like to get a cab or ojek, or any services that you like to use, you just click. So the user experience is happening and coming as a daily life that we face every day. And the second thing is everything is going to be mobile. Yeah, if you don't have the mobile strategy, you don't have the strategy. So seems that mobile is the way we access to the digital content world. Yeah, it's how we get connected, and also how we get mobile. We can do everything anywhere, anytime. And the third one is because of the future customers that define our industries. That's the millennials, the people within 18 to 35 years old. I think it's around 40% of the population. They are quite entrepreneurial, and then also digital native in natures. Yeah, and the fourth, I think we can see also in the financials that the service is no longer using checkbook is no longer. I don't know whether you still see checkbook, and and also cardless is no longer. I think gradually card will be also disappear, and yeah, it's then the touch point expected to be more integrated. Whatever you touch, the mobile or the tablet or the ATM, yeah. So this drive the change in the financial industries. And as also Bill Gates says that people still need banking, but not necessary to be from bank. Yeah? There is a change driving. Bank is like manufacturer. They produce products, a lot of products offered to the customers, whether they are it is necessary or not. It's keep producing products. But now, since the fintech is coming, the perspective is different. It's coming from really customer-centric. Yeah, they come from what is actually the problem and come with the solutions. That's the difference between the past bank-driven into the current fintech-driven or customer-driven. Also, there are a lot of development coming from the technology. Yeah, you see the big data, the artificial intelligence. What else? As you mentioned, also the cryptocurrencies, the blockchain, biometric. Cloud, Internet of Things, and it's coming to us and will impact our industries. If you see the change in the banking, it's getting faster. Yeah. First, it makes the value chains it's unbundled. It goes into what's so called as category killers. The bank value chain is slicing into category killers, and there is a killers in each services, like in payment. You see there is a, like now, GoPay or maybe Kioson, yeah? The category killers in each category. There is a peer-to-peer lending or crowdfunding. So they are playing in a certain category and offering a very compelling customer experience with a very attractive business models. And they can start at a very low cost and with only very few people. I don't know, like Kioson, maybe the people, how many people? Not like bank. We have 100,000 employees currently still. But maybe Kioson only have 100, maybe 100 people, yeah? As I said also, I mentioned earlier on that technology is impacting our industry, yeah? Big data make the risk management more efficient. Credit scoring is getting better, and also fraud detection, and also cloud-based services and blockchain make the trust management can be provided in the non-trusted environment. So how this fintech? So how then this fintech will slicing the industry of bank? So we can see here, like in the payment services. So there will be a cloud-based fintech company offering e-money or payments or wallet. And also there is aggregators type of fintech that provide the services using the robo-advisors. Yeah? Also, there is also peer-to-peer lending that's supported by credit scoring using the big data. Yeah? Blockchain will be supported, will be impacted in the clearing and settlement. So in the B2B, make the settlement consolidation about something that need to be settled is faster and non-repudiated. Everybody cannot refuse. This is coming from the study that there are from the 10 prediction, there are 3 top of the issues about financial industries. First, that is about the compete in the customer experience. Customer experience is becoming mission critical now. Yeah, your service is not used because of the complex. It's not easy to use. And second, so as we are entering the digital, the big data is a must. So big data will help us to see the customers, to see the services in a better and different perspective. Yeah, using the analytic to have a better credit scoring, yeah, and then also fraud detection. And the third part in the digital, the skill, the competence to partnership is also improved, because in this digital, speed is important. So we cannot wait for us to be ready, but we need to be able to innovate fast. So partnership is becoming one of the competence. So that's why the digital partnership is one of the trend in the financial institution. Now about the digital transformation, how then we need to transform like bank, like BRI, which is we are traditional bank. So at least there are three key success factors. First, if we start with the why, it's about the leadership, how we have the aspiration to change how we will lead in the digital arena. And then the second is about the what, the strategy. How then we will implement the strategy to make us relevant in the industry. And the third, it is the most challenging one, is the culture. Change the way we do business, change the mindset, more customer-centric, yeah, more collaborative, and also more data orientation. So like leadership, the way we run the business is different. We will operate the company in a, I call it as a hybrid mode. So we need to focus also on the today business, but we have also to explore what is the opportunity for the next 2 or 3, 5 years coming. We call it a hybrid mode. There is a discipline of the big established company to make it more efficient, and then also discipline of execution, but at the same time we have also embraced the startup culture to make experimentation, innovate, and also agile mode of the innovation. So that's the leadership part. On the strategy, I think we have to also make the customer experience as the critical point, the mission critical. Platform, the technology is also important to enable us to be flexible and also innovate. And then the business model has to be paradox. If your business model is just useful, I think it's difficult for bank like us to compete. And the last, okay, this is the technology architecture. The managing and governing the IT in the bank is now changed. It's not only managing the IT for internals, but the IT to serve the customer. That's the digital part. It's I call it as a two-speed. The first speed to manage the operational backbone to make it efficient, standard. But the second speed is to be agile to serve the customers. Yeah. Okay, the culture is changing. It's more customer-centric oriented, agile to do the product development, and more collaborative. Yeah. And also more data-centric orientation. Sorry, this one. So it's no longer focused on efficiency, but now it's about creativity and innovation. So the culture is more about collaboration. Talent is getting more important. This talent war is very difficult to find talent in this digital arena. Customer experience becoming mission critical, and the IT philosophy is become like more innovative. And the project management is more prototyping type of mode and also agile development. Then, as I said, in digital, big data is key. So how to make the risk management becoming more efficient, the credit scoring becoming more effective to make a decision. Fraud detection is also supported by big data to make the fraud pattern we can recognize earlier on. And at the end, also merchant assessment to make our partner, we can work with partners and make decisions fast to a point and work with partners. So on the customer-centric mindset, we also know, like bank, we try to integrate the products. It's no longer product-centric, it's more customer-centric, make like we serve micro. Currently, our account officer is really overloaded by the product that they need to sell. But make them empowered by mobile apps, mobile first solution, and then they will support by the lead management, loan processing, pre-screening, and also the collaterals. They just use the geotagging, more digital, and then to central processing, make the decision of the loan approval faster. Also in the consumer, we will ruin the products and more into solution in only one apps. We call it as a MyBRE for saving, for loan, for any type of loan, for insurance, whatever the solution required by the customers. Then it's about partnerships. So now as bank is not excellent in front end, so we need to extend our front end by collaborate with front end, like fintech, like e-commerce, Tokopedia, the Gojek, whoever, the Ray White. So they become the channel of banks, yeah? Social media also. Then we open to partner with them through API. We call it open API. So currently we have already around 20 API that open to the fintech or startup for virtual account, payment check of the account, etc. So yeah, this is the example of how we open the API to make the our service is exposed to as much as possible the front end. And at the end, okay. So at the end, this is the message that banks, we are fintech with a bank license. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Indra Utoyo. So that's very interesting. A bank, a fintech with a bank license. So is fintech friend or foe?
Friend and collaborate with fintech.
Okay, fintech is friend and collaborate. So that's something that the regulators need to understand in the future, is that fintech is a friend of the banks. And now we have a very inspiring person and company. The company is Kioson, and the founder is Mr. Jasin Halim. And it is our first IT company that went public. Yeah, just October, listed in the, give a round of applause. He has broke the bubble. So the floor is yours, but Jasin Halim, you can share experience. Yeah.
This is the first time that I speak in this kind of prestigious forum. Normally we go leapfrog from floor to floor, trying to do the pitch, trying to raise fund, trying to find angel investor, Series A investor, Series B investor, and the rest. It's an honor actually to be here, and I have not actually prepared my presentation. And this is the presentation that I normally use when I do pitching. We heard a lot about infrastructure, where the government building huge infrastructure, where there are actually physical infrastructure, where lots of funds is poured into the industry, into corporates to build the infrastructure so that the Indonesian economy will prosper. However, the Indonesian government, Jokowi government, has also realized that it's only half of the cup. If we look at the philosophy, half cup full and half cup empty, actually it's half cup full, meaning that they're only tackling the other side, but not tackling the other side of the population, which is called UMKM, Usaha Mikro Kecil dan Menengah. It's a SME, small medium enterprise. They're not even small, they're micro, they're ultra micro. I'll show you in a minute what I meant by that. Kioson position itself is a digital bridge between the rural, between urban and the rural economy, where, as you will see later, that 50% of the Indonesian economy is coming from the SME GDP produced by the SME. As such, there are only 30% of Indonesian population who are financially inclusive, and this needs to be fixed. And we see this opportunity, we see this problem, we see this challenge. This is what we are going to solve. How do we do that? We are partnering with micro shops, micro entrepreneurs. We call warung, kiosk. That's why our name Kioson, kiosk online. We partner with little kiosks like this. Of course, this lady does not know cryptocurrency. This lady does not know e-money. This lady does not even know how to go to a bank. They don't have bank account. All are cash basis. Yeah. In fact, 90% of the Indonesian transaction is still on cash basis, believe it or not. So all you see when you come to Jakarta, all the transactions you use cash, using credit cards, using debit cards, it's not really happening in Indonesia. It's half what you see. So you need to see what's the other side. That's what I'm trying to tell you today. We are bridging the digital gap by partnering with a lady like this, Bu Iem in Central Java, Pati, for example. And we are providing them applications or tablets if they don't have one. And in these shops, you can see that they sell all these FMCG products, soap, milk, keropok, maybe toothpaste or whatever. And on top, we are providing a tablet that sells all these other digital products, yeah, like payment that they can handle with cash, which means that all the customers come in and pay them in cash. They would use whatever balance that they have with us initially to exchange cash and services that the customer will receive. This is the slide introduction, because my introduction will not be complete without sharing with you this picture, and which I'm sure many of you would have already known, that less than 15 online shoppers in Indonesia are doing e-commerce, which means that they don't get to shop at Lazada, Blibli when they have a big sale, 11, 12, or whatever. When they burn the money, they don't enjoy them because they cannot pay. The challenges that the rest of the population have are infrastructure problem, cash society, education, and trust. I would say the major problem, the major challenges the rest of the population that cannot do e-commerce are because of a non-inclusive of the financial products. They are not financially inclusive. Yeah? That's why all of the transactions are done via cash. Another situation is infrastructure. Although penetration of internet has been quite well done, I think the Indonesian telco has done a good job by providing 4G. If you read in the data, Indonesians population has more than 100 million users of digital data. I mean, it's connected to internet. But however, not all of them are using a smartphone yet. Yeah, maybe they have a computer, but not all of them are using a smartphone, which means that they are still using a feature phone, a 2G. Education, a lot of them are not university graduate. Not all of them are high school graduate. So in terms of how to approach to e-commerce is a challenge. They need a guiding hand. They need to guide them how to proceed what we normally think is a self-explanatory process. You go to a website, you download, you register, you do email. Some of them don't have emails. And then you can start doing transactions by paying online, by paying using credit card, debit card. This doesn't work for a lady in a shop like that. Yeah? And trust. They still don't trust that they're going to pay something to someone that do not deliver the goods to them before. They are used to cash and carry, COD. So all these challenges is in Indonesia. So we see these challenges, we take on the challenges, and we are hoping that we can be part of the digitalization of Indonesian economy. So what we solve is when they do not have a problem, we would provide them a 3G tablet, a Kioson tablet, a 5-inch tablet, like you see on the slides previously. We will allow their customer, so we partner with the kiosk in the neighborhood. If you look at the data, depending on which data you look, if you look at Indonesian Ministry of Cooperative, there are 50 million of UMKM, micro enterprises, micro and small enterprises. But according to telcos and FMCG data, they are around 10 millions. 10 millions of little shops of mom and pop shops around the country, all over the country. But majority very densely populated in Sumatra and Java, definitely. Yeah? So with the cash basis that they have, they are able to do electronic transaction via the shops. So when we talk about fintech, it doesn't have to be wallet, it doesn't have to be credit card, it doesn't have to be cryptocurrency, but cash, some payment that enables them to do e-commerce. Still, it's a cash tag, fintech. Yeah, still a cash tag. The kiosk would train the neighborhood, the people that come around the shops, and the kiosks, normally they would have, I think, around 500 to 1,000 population around the neighborhood that they serve on a daily basis. It's a planned purchase. They come to buy soap, they come to buy cigarettes, they come to buy pulsa, or whatever. That's the population they serve. And the neighborhood trusts the kiosk. So for example, someone in a village want to buy something, maybe he would just tell the shopkeeper, but I want a phone, for example. I'll pay you tomorrow. And the shop would trust them. and deliver the phone tomorrow without getting the payment first. And this is a trust, the neighborhood trust system that cannot be provided by a normal e-commerce, unless you have a credit card, of course. We are hoping that, and we are already doing that, connecting all this unserved population to a lot of the e-commerce players. We provide payments, we provide financial inclusion, we provide e-vouchers, electronic vouchers, payments, bills, tickets, utility bills, what else? E-commerce payment. Financial inclusions, we are helping them to do money remittance. For example, but we are not competing with BRI. Yeah, BRI is very much deep in the rural area, but however, to establish a bank is much bigger capital outlay that need to be made compared to what a Kioson shop. Kioson only need to allow the partners to download the apps, which cost nothing actually. And only by then, the shop would allow their neighborhood to do money transfer. So the neighborhood, normally they would need to go to a bank, like half an hour by motorbike, park, put in a line, and BRI is the largest bank in the rural area. And even though it's the largest bank, you still can see, according to my experience in the rural area, people need to queue half an hour to get the service done for a simple money transfer. Cash in to a bank, to another island, to the family, to the father, to the mother, all over Indonesia. Another half an hour back, that would take you like 1.5 hours to 2 hours just to transfer a small amount, $10, $20, or $50. So this is what we enable them from the neighboring, from the neighborhood. Whoever want to transfer money, they just go to our shops, give them cash, boom, instantly the money will be transferred. Of course, we work together with banks. Another financial inclusion that we are helping are micro lending. I'll show you later, but I'll talk about it now. Micro lending is something very interesting. I'm sure a lot of banks are doing that. We are talking about KYC, we are talking about analytics, we are talking about credit scoring, we are talking about collateral, etc., which none of them they would have. None of them our partners would have. By the way, we are providing micro financing only to the shops, not to the consumer. So what happened is our partners would onboard using the data, and of course we do not have any. Actually, we have a little bit of a traction of what they are doing. We know how much transaction they do. We onboard them 1 month, and we see the transaction. They have some transaction. We offer them a small credit, $50 for a start. Not bad, non-collateral. And then we throw that loan to the financial company, the fintech, P2P fintech. Just to give you an example of normally, probably in the bank, in financial institution, where a borrower, a qualified borrower, go to the bank and trying to get a loan, however small, however big, I think it will range from the fastest one, it will get funded, the fastest one, I think it will be 24 hours. It could be less, I don't know. But I can tell you, on our platform, the loan will be snapped away in less than 10 seconds. In less than 10 seconds. That shows there are a lot more borrowers that are willing to fund micro businesses. Yeah, there are a lot more. So, of course, we are trying very hard to get more borrowers on board. Of course, we are also trying to be prudent. We are trying to get all the data in proper to make sure that some data is there, some KYC is there. We need some selfie picture. We need some geotag location. We need to see some traction. And those that we fund are those who actually have the store. Those who are downloading trying to do the transaction, get the loan, we do not. So we are trying to filter all those. We are charging, the fintech company is charging 24% per annum. 24% is a very considered low comparing a non-collateral compared to the credit card company that charge 32, 35%. And the lenders are getting like 18%. So it's a P2P financing platform that the lenders will be the individual investor, retail investor. The retail investor will be behind a particular loan. And when a loan is thrown to that platform, the platform would announce to all the investors and see who will take it first. We see the funding, the latest funding in terms of time will be like 2 minutes. Yeah, of course, it's micro lending. People might be just trying it out to see how it pans out. We don't know. Yeah. Next. This is what I pitch normally. What's the vision of Kioson? Kioson is trying to Uberize all the micro stores in Indonesia. Through these micro stores, we are helping the population to be more digitized, to be able to do transactions, to be able to be financially included. This is normally what I'm trying to sell, that our team is very young. It's true that it's very difficult to get. It's true that it's very difficult to get capable and a capable team to be on your board, especially when you are a startup. But things have turned around. I'll tell you a story that you might not heard of, and I have not told this story to many people, that in the process of doing recruitment on a startup school, for example, we have a competing recruiter, we have a bank, we have insurance company, we have analytics company, we have other financial company, and Kioson, being a startup, trying to get the cheapest way of getting everything, including talents. So we went together to pitch our company and trying to see whether we can get talents. Out of 15, every company would pitch, every company would offer a job to the new fresh graduates of the startup school. At the end of the meeting, at the end of the pitch, they do not ask how much would I get on the salary. They ask, what kind of formality is there? Do I have to dress up in white shirts and long pants? All the financial companies say yes. Kioson say, no, you can dress whatever you like, as long as you are dressed. You can come in shorts, you can come in sneakers, like I do every day. And then they would ask, what are the working hours? 9 to 5, all the financial institutions, all my competitors 9 to 5. I say, you don't need to come if you can complete your task. So at the end of the day, guess how many come to Kioson, guess how many will come to financial institution. Out of 15, 13 come to Kioson. The following day, another one changed his mind. I want to go to Kioson. So all of them, 14 come to Kioson and 1 go to the bank. So the bank and the financial institution that went together with us realized that things are changing. We showed them the picture of our meeting room. There's not a meeting, actually not a meeting room, and there's no table. We sit on the floor. Bean bags, colorful bean bags. That's how we do our meetings. So this kind of vibe, this kind of environment, maybe the Tokopedia, maybe the Gojek, maybe the Uber has done a good job creating a environment that sell for us. That working for startup is something could be interesting. By the way, the average of 25 does not include me and the other founders who have gray hairs and everything. So if we include them, so it'll be around maybe half or 1 year old, 26. And these are our current services. We have payment, e-commerce product, electronic vouchers, financial inclusion products. This is the one I was showing you. It's funded in 35 seconds. It's funded in 6 seconds. One of the things that, that we are doing, which is, well, I'll say future business, but this already currently doing is, at the moment, Kioson has already helped like 30,000 partners all over Indonesia, micro kiosks. Of course, we're not talking about big corporations, micro, but it feels good. We feel good that we are helping them out. And we have served more than 2 million customers in terms of products. One of the things that attract the attention of the government is the distribution of social security safety net, the what I call so-called bansos, which the budget is around 30 trillion rupiah for 2018, and in total I think about 60 trillion, and it's going increasing year by year. And we are helping the government to be the points to distribute the safety net products. I'll skip this. This is the thing that I think George has, do I have another minute? George has mentioned that we are the first startup that go IPO. And prior to IPO, our valuation is around 15 to 20 million. 1 month towards the IPO, after the IPO, our valuation market cap become 150 million. It shows that Indonesians investor, a retail investor, is hungry for a startup. And Indonesian government, the OJK and the Bursa, has actually encouraged startup to go public to get the funding. Because sometimes it's very difficult, especially when you're a startup, that the foreign investor do not have understanding of the Indonesian landscape. You would, your vision, your future value is not appreciated. And also sometimes a big P in Indonesia, the way they do the way they make the decision is too long. So this is what happened to us, by the way. Yeah. Our transactions now, we're doing around 20 million transactions a month. This is something funny. In the startup time, well, we are still a startup, considered startup. Before we go IPO, it's very difficult to get media exposure. I think we call, we dine with them, we wine with them, trying to get our exposure. They say, yeah, your story is great, we can do it. I think in the yearly, we get only 10 exposure. But after IPO, we got around almost 200 media exposure, TV, magazine, newspaper, for free. So this is something that we cherished, and we thank the public for giving us such a big support. We thank the OJK, Bursa Efek Indonesia, for giving us the opportunity and supporting the whole startup community. So I think that's all I have for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jasin. Indonesia's first startup that went IPO in October, and the value of the company grew 4 times in 2 months. Yeah. So congratulations on your achievement. Now we have Mr. Leong Hian. He is the chairman of the Singapore Professional Center, and he can share with us his thoughts on what is happening in Indonesia in fintech and the digital transformation in the financial technology of today. Please, sir.
Actually, I don't like to sit here and speak into the mic because I was a radio talk show host. So I'm sitting here with the earphone. So I think I'll walk around a bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Where I come from, it's customary to start your presentation with a joke. But today, very special because I always tell jokes making fun of other people. But today, I think first time in my life, I'm going to tell a joke making fun of myself. And the reason for that is, the last time I came to Indonesia to give presentation was to all the regional managers of what I understand now is the biggest bank in Indonesia. So better not make fun of bank, the usual joke is about bank. And of course, you're also from bank. But I'm telling this joke about myself because in the morning, there was so much talk about the importance of access to patient capital. So here's a joke. A few years ago, I'm a radio talk show host, man. So one day, my lead DJ, I have 3 DJs helping me on the show. So my lead says, hey, I want you to meet a very interesting person. I said, okay. So I met this person, and this person said something like this. Oh, I'm 26 years old. I just graduated from film school, you know. I'm going to make my first full feature movie. I need $700,000. I'm very poor, right? I think he only had $20 in the bank or something. And this is his very first movie, you know. So he went to my country's Media Development Authority for money. This is what they told him. You want 700,000? No problem. We give you 300,000. We invest in your movie. But you must find 400,000 yourself first lah. I think in Indonesia it's sudah lah. So then talk to me. I said, wow, this one sure lose money, right? Young man, just graduate, first movie. But like Gita said in the morning, sometimes already the brain not working very well, you know. So I said, okay lah, patient capital, give lah, right? When at the most don't come back lah, you know, right? For the first time in the history of the world, this movie won 40 international awards. So everywhere I go, when people see me, they say, wow, Pak Leong, you must be making tons of money, right? You executive producer, 40 international awards. I always say what, you know? Oh, my modesty prevents me from disclosure. So this one nobody know, but Indonesia, I can tell you. Actually, so far I only get the money back only. But of course, movie, got DVD, you watch, you fly, airline, you can see the money, hopefully, will come. So, imagining the future. I think next month this will happen already. You are going to board the plane. Oh, something pop up. Oh, another terrorist attack. You want to increase your travel insurance? Just here only. What do you think will happen? A lot of kiasu people, right? Can you imagine the amount of economic activity this will generate? And of course, if it's a real terrorist attack, the claim comes, even more money, more economic activity. You are boarding the plane. Oh, Trump has been re-elected. And the last time Trump was re-elected, in 1 year, the market went up like a straight arrow by 20%. So we think will happen again. You want to invest? Here got 1,000, one thing, press here, invest from as little as $10. This is fintech. This is the future. But this one most people know lah. So today I will focus on talking about what I call the non-traditional applications of fintech that maybe most people have not talked about. The future of fintech. I was in Sri Lanka 4 years ago. Cow giving ceremony. You know what's cow giving ceremony? We give few hundred cows to poor families so they can take the cow, have milk, then make fertilizer from the cow dung. So 4 years later, which is just this year, the high priest of the Buddhist foundation in Sri Lanka comes to Singapore. And he tells me this fascinating story. Do you know, for the first time in the history of Sri Lanka, or maybe in the world, a Buddhist foundation is building a home for homeless Tamil children. And they had a 25-year-old civil war. Can you imagine the Catholic Church building a home for homeless Muslims? So this is groundbreaking. But what makes the story very interesting is a university in Germany, the students want to have a social project to build this home in Sri Lanka. That's how it started. So when I was just there last month, 20 students from Germany actually building brick by brick the home. But you know, life is very funny. They both forgot something very important, which a lot was discussed this morning. You see, the Buddhist Foundation thought the German university will fund the building. The German university thought the Buddhist Foundation will fund the building. So there was no financing. 120,000 US dollars. How? They already got the land free, somebody donated it, they're already building the thing, no money. So when I heard this, I inquired a bit more. I was thinking, actually that day quite lucky, you know. I was just speaking on fintech in Singapore. So I said, can apply fintech to this one? So I thought, I said, oh, They have 35 volunteers from various countries in Sri Lanka helping this Buddhist foundation, helping the college, helping the girls' home, helping the tree school, helping the charity, all kind of things. I said, okay, have you ever done crowdfunding internationally? No. I knew that's my specialty, okay? Crowdfunding. It's okay lah. Let's do it. We will have crowdfunding. The volunteers come from at least 6 or 7 different languages. They will translate the crowdfunding in their own language. They will write something briefly about why they are volunteering in Sri Lanka. I went to Sri Lanka. I'm going to Germany end of the month to make the video, filmmaker, you know. Then we tell the story. We will ask in maybe multi-languages, 120,000 people to give $1 for this very meaningful, first time ever building of a home for Tamil children by a Buddhist foundation. You think we will get the money? No problem. Because I have helped people do this for about maybe 10 over times in the last 3 years. You just have to say at the end of the $1, please share this meaningful activity with your friends. And everybody will be so proud, they'll tell a friend, you know, I donate money to this, you know. And you know what? Normally people don't donate $1. If they donate $1, they are too shy to tell their friend. The average is about $50 to $100. So fintech. Now we do it manually. We use Facebook. With fintech, all the phone will pop up. Press this button. Donate $1 or more. Press this. Share with all your friends. I have 5,000 friends. Another, this is like science fiction, you know. My favorite TV program is Star Trek. Go boldly where no man has gone before. So this one really stretching the imagination, use of fintech. Do you know there's one country in the world? Everybody said this is the economic miracle in the last 50 years, you know. And the main reason, the primary reason why it's so successful is not because 39,000 Indonesians have at least $1 million US invested in that country. That is not the main reason. The main reason, right, is because it's the only in the country in the world, from a cash flow perspective, you track the cash flow, don't spend a single cent on healthcare, pensions, or public housing. That's why government have tons of money. This year can increase infrastructure spending to $22 billion. So what has that got to do with fintech? Increasingly this become a hot political potato, you know. Because the people say, hey, you don't spend money on us. You take the money, you develop a country, fine, we are the best, the most successful country. Hey, but you must tell us how much money you're taking from us. Now, the biggest contention is our pensions. We don't know how much of the pension return the government is keeping. Is it 1%? Is it 2%? Is it 3%? Is it half the pension return? Political potato. How can fintech help? Well, imagine the 3 million Singaporeans, your phone pop up and they say, you know, we are testing a new way to finance national development. How many of you will agree to give 0.1% of your pension return to help in national development? And those people who think, fine, I have calculated. If 0.1% of pension return is equal to about 0.3% of GDP, and Indonesia's budget deficit for this year is targeting 0.7. So fintech, by one touch of the phone, can bring you, in this example, half of your budget deficit. So, another crazy application of fintech, which I call, why this one always press one, don't time, 2 times, 3 times? Okay, oops. This one is like God sent to you, you know. Indonesia has 17,000 islands. This morning they already talked. But Haryanto say, a connectivity problem. This one will solve all your problem. Do you know there's a new technology called wing in ground craft? You don't know, right? Okay. Can play a video for me? Thank you. This one invented for Indonesia. You know why? But before I tell you the great story of this wing in ground craft, I must tell you the story of how it started. The company that built this is actually owned by, like yourself, Singapore's most famous entrepreneur who out of nothing built the largest technology consumer company in the world. His name starts with S. Okay, don't say the full name. So he owned and funded this company. After $50 million, many years of development, after the Koreans have burned 160 million and closed down the company, this thing is working, ready to market, ready to sell. A team from the Thai Navy came, certified this one good, very good, airworthy, seaworthy, everything. But now we come to the stage where, like IPO stage, all ready to go, right? I need to tell you what happened before this happened. And it has to do with, I think, as many of you have told me over coffee, Indonesia, everything very good, no, bagus, but one thing problem, red tape. You know red tape? You see, this craft, when it was ready to fly, they need permission to test the craft, right? So guess what? The Maritime Port Authority said, this one not my problem, this one land craft, you go and talk to the Land Transport Authority. The Land Transport Authority said, this one not my problem because you go on the sea, you go to the Maritime Port Authority. So ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, cannot just get permission to test the flight, But like all things, they managed to get the CEO of one of the largest sovereign wealth fund to take a ride on this. And then she posts on Facebook, wow, this one very good, very, very nice. Straight away got permission to test, but only for 1 month. Anyway, they finally got a place in Malaysia, big place by the sea. They can test until the cow come home, right? So Thai Navy test, everything ready to go. So what is holding them back? Regulations, right? It's like the first flying saucer, no. Which country government going to give the regulation? But you saw it, right? What is the problem? No problem, right? But as of today, no country has set up the regulations to allow this thing to fly, to work, even though it's there. I think Indonesia, one of the few countries, boleh potong jalan, can cut the red tape, cut the bureaucracy. So in 2045, your 17,000 islands will all be connected by wing and ground. You know why? I take ferry to Batam, 45 minutes. I take this one, 10 minutes. You know how much to buy a ferry? You know how much this thing only costs? $3-4 million. It's what we call peanuts, It's very cheap to operate. Run on petrol. The best thing, no need ferry dock, no need ferry terminal, no need anything, no infrastructure. Because you saw the video just now. It actually comes with a pontoon. As long as sit by the water, go out, can fly already. So, wing in ground. What has fintech got to do with it? You want to buy your first one, your fintech will ask, will 4 million Indonesians tap and give $1 so that this can fly, provided the regulations are there in Indonesia, so that Indonesia will be the first country through fintech financing to make this work, and therefore you lead the whole world in wing and ground, and by 2045, all your 17,000 islands will be connected. Thank you.
Very good, Mr. Leong C. Hian, who shared about how fintech can have a social impact. Yeah? And obviously that is through crowdfunding and various initiatives of the like. And so we've heard a very good conversation on how digital transformation in financial technology will impact Indonesia, not just in the future, but as of today. And so we have a few more minutes here, and I'll allow the audience to share. A very distinguished audience here that Pak Shoaib has gathered up here. We have ambassadors. There's ambassador of Croatia here in Indonesia, and we have businessmen and from all over Indonesia and throughout the region. So I'll give the one term for a discussion with our panelists here. I'll open that up. Any comments, remarks, questions? Yeah, simple question. Go ahead.
Security issues with fintech, and how are you going to deal with those?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I think I'll allow the three of you to answer that, but a very, very good question. Smart but safe, yeah, please.
Okay, yeah, I think security is in the digital era, I think is getting more critical, yeah. And technology is expecting to help to mitigate these issues. So one of that is using the big data for fraud detection. So we can also read the pattern of the fraud happening internally, also so internal like skimming or like internal fraud that happening, that there's certain weird pattern that happen, then we can anticipate before on. So there is a understanding and then detection and also a response to the fraud. The other one is also make the big data is helping in terms of the credit scoring is better, yeah, and also the biometric or whatever can be from finger, from face. That's also help the KYC and also the authentication of the individual that doing the activity in financial transaction. I think that's one of the.
How about hacking?
Yeah, hacking. Yeah, I think now is there is also the discipline, the new discipline, how to make it more multi layers in terms of defense of the systems. It's no longer just the front end, but also in many layers. In the front end, also in the middle end, and also so make the layers of defense is getting more currently. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Indra. So,
earlier this year, my society organized a forum on disruption in fintech. Not fintech disrupt other people, but disruption in fintech with, I think, Oxford University's business school alumni in Singapore. And what we learned is that, it's a very good question, because why do you think what I demonstrated earlier about boarding the plane, buy travel insurance, invest when Trump got elected? The technology is already there, but it's not happening anywhere yet because of security. There are no regulations. One European country has already put in place the regulations to allow fintech, tap, invest, $10, 1,000, one things. But you know the problem in Europe, right? One country regulation, if they want to get Europe, the EU to agree, I think will take another 50 years.
thank you.
Yeah, I think I'll echo what Indra just said, that all this infrastructure for security is in place. We have encryption, we have a KYC, we have all this technology to make the transaction secured, because the banking industry has been in place for many, many years. I think it's quite secure. But on top of that, what I'd like to highlight is recently, Indonesian government have imposed on a compulsory registration of SIM card number. And that's very critical, because without a registered, a recognized, a proper way of registering a SIM card number, that is a very high potential fraud. And that's been happening, not a big money, but a lot of fraudulent acts happening through call centers, imposing of other people, and that goes unreported, or even though it's been reported, that cannot be enacted on, simply because we do not know, or the government or the authority do not know who has a SIM card number. And I think the effort to make sure to force everybody to go on board listing the, registering the SIM card number is shown of the government's serious effort to make fintech and other digitalization of the nation works.
If I may just add, you see all the examples I gave about crowdfunding for social causes, crowdfunding for new inventions, they are happening right now. Because conceptually, you don't need fintech to do it on Facebook. And they are happening because you don't need regulations to do that. But you don't see anybody on Facebook asking people to invest money, because that needs regulations.
So yes, in this also, the digital is giving more flexibility and easiness for using things, but on the other end, is giving also the attack is higher. But in this digital world, I think it's difficult also for everybody, individuals, companies, even government, to understand the phenomenon that's happening. It's changing, it's so fast. Like, you know, the WannaCry phenomenon, well, where the fashioning also changed. We already implement the antiviruses, but not longer then will come another fashioning. So to deal with this very dynamic environment, I think collaboration is also important to understand the phenomenon happening in this digital arena. So collaboration between business, also between security communities, among the industries, to understand and also how to respond to the digital attack is also important in this time.
So I guess with, unless there's any other remarks or comments, oh, okay, please, Ambassador Jasin, from the Ambassador of Croatia to Indonesia and ASEAN.
Thank you very much, Pa George, for bringing such good topics today. I would like to share our experience, something what Leong Xiansheng was telling us about wings on ground. I'm coming from the country which has 1,200 islands, not as many as Indonesia, but also there is a problem of connectivity, mainland with the islands, and we are mainly touristic country, a lot of tourists coming to Croatia, mainly this year 20 million, and we are only 4 million population. So one of the features we introduced basically last year was wings on ground, connecting islands. You know, tourists enjoy hopping from island to island, going back to mainland and so on. But as you mentioned correctly, the main problem is actually governments and regulations. I come from government, and I can tell you some insights from there. We were fighting for, I don't know, maybe 3-4 years actually to have this service started only. And now, after starting, we faced so many new regulation problems. As you mentioned correctly, everybody's saying, hey, this is not my area that I have to regulate. Go to, I don't know, some other ministry. This year we have started, I believe, first in the world with Uber boat. Also connecting islands or connecting mainland with the islands. But the service has started, but again, ran into problems due to regulations. So basically, we are bringing disruption to this world in many new different areas. And the main battle there is actually regulations. But governments are relatively resistant to do something, to do it fast, and to recognize that this is the future. This is only my remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador. Just introduce yourself.
I'm Nalan Singh. You'll see me on one of the panels later. I want to bring in a consumer's point of view. banking is regulated for a reason. We've had microfinance and crowdfunding in a manual way for many, many years. And it's regulated because of the frauds and the Ponzi schemes we got. Now with technology, how does a common man participate? Does not technology make this whole way of giving money completely faceless? Doesn't it open itself up to more fraud? How do I, giving $50, it's small money, but very big for me, decide who to give it to?
Very good question to end this session. So I'll give another round to Jasin first, and then Hian, and then Indra. Go ahead first.
If I understand your questions correctly or your remarks correctly, meaning the consumer ends the payment or in terms of as a lender?
Trust. Yeah.
As a payer. Okay. In my perspective as a company that still deals in cash society still, we do not face this problem, unfortunately. So I cannot comment so much on this. I'll just pass it on to the next speakers.
It's very, very good question. Maybe answer your question by telling you a very, very short story. I was at the Cloisters Forum in Switzerland in July. And that forum is about how to help the 60 million refugee children to fund their education. And almost everyone I talked to about crowdfunding, they all said the same thing. Everybody is crowdfunding every day. There are thousands of crowdfunding. How does the consumer know whether it's safe, whether it's legitimate, and who to give to? And so everybody was very pessimistic. I mentioned I've helped do about 10 over crowdfunding the last 3 years or so. They are like everything, like making a movie. Why some movies get 40 awards, most get 0, right? The little things count. I just take 1 minute. If you want to crowdfund, if you can find a celebrity to support you, do it. Because the celebrity is your credibility. Okay? 2, right? You must have a history of being ultra transparent. Every day you must show the money coming in. Every day you must show the money going out. And you keep engaging the people who give you $1, what the $1 is doing. And you keep doing that, you are building up a fan base. The fan base, when you do future crowdfunding, will automatically give money to you, will automatically share with your friends, because you are already a tried and tested, platform. Same. Why do you choose to go to A bank or B bank? Or because you ask around, which one is safer, which one better, right? So it's the same, right? The little things count. As to Croatia, this morning one of the speakers said, how can Indonesia have less tourists than Singapore? And the answer, I think you hit it right in the nail, is the regulations. Right? So regulations drive everything, whether it's tourists, whether it's wing in ground. Right? So, but that's where Indonesia has the greatest potential. Because I saw some ranking somewhere, in terms of red tape, although you improved a lot, you're still one of the worst, the most bureaucratic in the world, So if you're right here at the bottom, you have the most potential to fly. No longer wing on ground, fly in the air.
Okay, I hope I can understand the question correctly. So actually in this digital, how to make it more inclusive, more able to reach more people, and about the trust, how to have a trust systems. I think there is area that we cannot change. It is a compliance. It's about KYC, anti-money laundering, whatever the services. But there is a possibility of change. It's because of the technology. Yeah. Like big data, it gives a lot of insight about individuals. We have the histories, the track that can come from social media, from other sources about the person. So that also help people to make decisions fast. So the big data help to the credit scoring is better. Make the fraud detection is even more accurate, more efficient, and can detect early on. So that's technology can change to make the compliance is then be fulfilled easier, faster. So using the eKYC, the digital ID, the biometric, whatever tools that make, and also big data to make the decision, oh, this is the unsecured lending, but I trust the people because of this information from the pattern of the behavior, from the psychology. So a lot of initiative coming from fintech to make this credit scoring or decision to give money or lend money easier. Depend on the size. The unsecured lending, maybe the money size also not that big. So make the decision fast.
If I can just add 30 seconds. You want to be successful in fintech, in crowdfunding, follow the eBay model. It's all about peer review, rating, and transparency.
I think I can just add to that, answering the question that I just gathered some input from the other speakers, that it's all because of habitual. If you see giving money away or paying someone that you have not ever seen before, it's something that was not done before the e-commerce era is there, because before the internet is there. But after gradual education, after trust has been built in the society, people start paying something, especially in the urban area. People start paying something, credit card, transfer money to something that you have not received before. But I think for the rural area, things would slowly change. They trust e-commerce by paying cash to the store where they have not received the goods. But I think as they trust the brand, as they trust the system, they are quite comfortable if they are later on financially inclusive. They are more capable to transfer payment without using the cash to the non-facial interface with you. I think that would solve the problem of the habitual.
So you better buy his company stock, okay?
So
It's not too late.
yeah, I guess thank you very much for the panelists. It's a very insightful input, and to the audience, from cybersecurity to Uber boats to trustworthiness in the system. Yeah, what is real? So this is the digital transformation in financial technology. It's expansive. It is amazing. But as these questions have indicated, we are also very naked. And this is where maybe Pak Shweb and the IEF can have a conversation in the future, cybersecurity. And we have also Pak Danny Rembet there, just talked to me about PwC's role in the architect of that cybersecurity in Indonesia. How to be smart, but safe. And with that, we end this session because the time is ended, and I think it says right here, lunch break. So with the next exclamation point, we will go to break.